OpenAI has just released Operator, and this changes everything. Let's take a look at this example. It asks to find a family-friendly campsite at Joshua Tree this weekend, and take a look at what it is doing. It is searching a web browser and doing exactly what the prompt says here. And essentially, in short, what Operator is doing is it's essentially automating tasks for you. And this, you can see right there, is how it did it. Now, let's go ahead and go to the actual site and see some more examples here. Now, one thing to note that currently it is only available to US and to the pro users, so the $200 a month. However, if you go on to X, they did post that eventually they will be releasing this to all of ChatGPT. Again, the date of that we are not sure, but just keep that in mind. If you don't want to drop $200, feel free to just wait. Whoever knows how long, maybe a few weeks, we'll see. But let's go ahead and take a look at another example, and I'll say some comments regarding this after we show this video here. But basically, it shows Instacart, which if you're not from the States, this is essentially a delivery application. Typically you can get groceries and whatnot. And here he's just explaining some more details, and we'll see if I can try to skip ahead and see. Here we go. So it says, could you find a recipe of linguine with clams? And he goes on and he starts to add additional details, such as stuff he already has at home. And basically, you get the point. For this example, he's going to order groceries literally using OpenAI. Now, if you've ever ordered groceries on an application, it's actually, if you know what you're getting, it's pretty simple. You click a bunch of buttons, you hit delivery, type in your address. However, if you have the ability to just simply type in 2-3 sentences and then it does it automatically, that's going to save a lot of time, one. And two is, if they were to continuously update this to where you could just press a button with like a saved order or something, or have like presets, that could be crazy. Now, this is obviously one example utilizing Operator, but again, they showcase a bunch of different options, such as looking up, for example, travel flights, booking that, reservations to restaurants, and pretty much anything that you can think of that is automated, or at least could be automated. It seems like Operator is working on focusing on that aspect. So there are a few people who have tested this out with different variations. So if you were to use Operator, you can see on the dashboard it has certain applications. But for now, let's focus back on this particular video here. And you can see here that it's showcasing recipe websites, and it's looking at ingredients. So here he asked to find a recipe, and basically it's going to go ahead and look all that up as if you were to do that yourself. And if you've never cooked before, I can see why this could be beneficial, because you might not know you need certain ingredients. Now, imagine this with anything task you have. For example, let's say you want to schedule a dentist appointment, and you just went to a new city for the week, you're traveling, and you say, hey, book me an appointment with a dentist, and then basically it does it for you. It's essentially, at least the way I view it, it's like your own assistant. It's the equivalent of if you had an assistant in real life that's doing everything for you, but on the literal computer AI, maybe on your phone too, if you wanted to go ahead and use it like that. But the cool thing is using the browser. But as of right now, some of the cons is obviously it's US based, which US is a small part of the world. And for people, there's a lot of applications overseas that I think if they can get it eventually to the point where the major applications in different countries are integrated with this, then that could be game changing. Now let's take a look at the behind the scenes, and it is operated by their new model they call Computer Using Agent, which is short for CUA, and this combines GPT-4o's vision capabilities with advanced reasoning through reinforcement learning. So this is interesting because they state this computer using agent. And the funny thing is Claude actually had something called computer use, and they actually released this back in October last year. And it looks almost quite similar to the Claude version. The difference is that they have, it looks like, more apps integrated into it, and obviously I'm sure it's maybe smoother than the original Claude. However, there are a few people who tried different alternatives to the typical apps that you use, and they tried more advanced stuff like searching for specific things that you normally wouldn't find on an app, and it seems like it starts to hallucinate from there. But again, depending on your use case, could be game changing for you. But again, this is still early stages, literally released like 1 day ago, so don't expect it to be perfect right now. And now let's take a look at another way to use Operator. And here's a video that they posted on their website. Also, this is available on YouTube on their channel. So here they're about to go ahead and type in a prompt. You can see here it has some suggestions on the ways you can use it. So for example, obviously restaurants, delivery for food, local services, shopping, travel. I'm guessing this says news over here. And right away, all the things that I'm sure people do daily on their phones, this looks like it's slowly trying to be the alternative. So here they're using OpenTable, which if you are not from the States, this is where you can essentially reserve at restaurants. And here it states, book me a table for two at this place at 7 p.m. Now, in the video, what's really interesting is that there are some issues that it runs into, and then eventually you'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and wait for that to show up. Enters the prompt, book me a table at this restaurant at 7 p.m. And you can see that it opens up a browser in ChatGPT's dashboard. And you can see when every time the mouse hovers over, it shows the option to take control, which at right now, me personally, I would not want to have some AI controlling my computer, at least in these early stages. Again, feel free if you would like to. But as of right now, I don't have any use case for it for me. But again, that is something to keep in mind is with these AI products, if something does take control and starts to go crazy, just note that that is a possibility. Again, ideally, I'm sure they have safety measures put into place. And in terms of what it can access is probably obviously nothing too crazy. And this is inside the dashboard with its own browser, it looks like. So wouldn't be too, I'd say, it looks like it's much safer than just being on your actual computer. But right there, they're showing that they have settings showcasing the actual city that they're in, that they're trying to order from, because it's showed a different option when you searched up that city that they inputted. So essentially, if you live in a particular area that has a similar name to a completely different location across the country, you can have a preset on your settings on your profile that basically allows you to say, hey, I'm in California. Make sure you only look at restaurants in this city over here, not something in like New York, for example, or wherever else. And you can see here, it is basically doing everything that you would want it to do. Now, just some of my quick thoughts on this is, as of right here, it looks like they're basically doing a lot of prompting, right? So, it says here, it's not available at this time. What about this time here? And then they do mention it did something that they didn't even think about. But you can see here at least the browser showcasing the reservation page, and it says complete reservation. And I think ideally, with the same amount of prompts it took here, I feel like you could probably have just done it yourself, to be honest. Obviously, there's some use cases where like this could be quicker, and I'm sure this does save some time in the sense that it is doing it right here. But for the fact that multiple prompts had to go through it and it had to say, hey, this is not available, I feel like right now it just doesn't seem like it's that much of a jump. However, if you were to do something, for example, like find a apartment with this particular thing, that's different. Now here they're showing another example showing a handwritten grocery list. And this guy has, I'd say his handwriting looks quite great, and it's probably easy for AI to read it. But for some people, if you just scribble around, I'm curious to see how AI will actually react to that. But you can see here, can you buy this for me? And it's opening Instacart here. Now, obviously, it has to do a bunch of questions and say, hey, is this good, etc. Ideally, in the future, what I'm thinking is you put this list, press buy this now, ship to my address, and it arrives your house. That's ideally what I think the end result would be in the future. But as of right now, it's still not there. This is still the early stages, and it's showcasing the overall process. And it obviously this makes it easier if there are like issues, for example, and it says, oh, there's no carrots or whatever, no eggs in stock. Then it has to notify you. But again, general thoughts, this is a move forward with AI. This could be game changing in the next few months if they update this, tweak it to where it's basically fully automated. You don't have to sit here and correct the prompts and ask it, hey, fix this, fix that. But again, this is a start, and this can change it, especially if they can get it to go from one prompt to solution in basically less than 2 or 3 prompts. Because right now it seems like if there's a problem, if there's an issue, it's going to tell you, hey, which type of spinach brand you want, or whatever it is. It seems like as of right now, it's easier way to do things, but it's just a different procedure instead of it essentially saving you time. The ways I could see this being helpful is if you have no clue like what website to order food from. Or for example, if you're looking for apartments with a certain price. I mean, apartment websites, if you ever looked at that, they basically have the filters with the prices you can range, the location, and you just press go. So it's almost the same concept. It's just a different method, at least in my opinion, of doing it. The day it happens to where you can say, hey, I need an appointment right now, book this price for this and this date, this time, and you just press one button and then someone calls you at this time and it's done. That's essentially the future. I see like that's where it's going to be headed towards, but right now it still requires multiple steps in between. But overall, this is a big leap because guess what happens next? All the competition, everyone who does have an AI product now has to follow suit. And then basically that just speeds up the process and makes it so much better in terms of the future for the AI movements and essentially all these AI softwares. But his video is quite long, 23 minutes, so feel free to check it out on the actual YouTube of OpenAI or their websites. But do share your thoughts on this. Do you think this is going to change the game for the future of everybody's lives? Or do you think this is just some overcomplicated way to do something that we already are doing right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below and like and subscribe for more updates on tech and AI.